Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Woman Crafts and welcome to another Flosstube episode. And actually, as I'm speaking to you right now, it just crossed my mind that technically my second Flosstube anniversary just passed a couple days ago. I think I had in my planner that it was August 2nd. I knew I wasn't going to be able to film, so I have nothing planned. Maybe next video we'll do a little something for the old 2-year anniversary, but I can't believe I've been at this for 2 years. That's kind of wild to think about, and I guess we'll just start this one off with like a thank you for being here. If you're new, if you're returning, I love to see it and I love to see you and I love to talk to all of you. So thank you to everyone. I'm not going to get too gushy about it right now because we have a lot to cover. As a lot of folks say, this is a channel about cross stitch, and today it is also a retreat recap. So we know, you already know how long I have rambled on about this, but I'm gonna try to keep it a little tight. I got notes. So today's format is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to show you, I last filmed, I think on like the 19th, and then I left for retreat on the 31st of July. So I had a fair amount of stitching that was kind of like pre-retreat stitching. So I'm going to show you stuff that I stitched before retreat that didn't come with me. And then I'm going to kind of like do my narrative recap, sort of like I did for StitchCon. And we'll look at the stitching that happened during the retreat during that part, if that works for you. If not, I don't want to hear it. Just kidding. And there will be timestamps below as always, so you're welcome to skip around to the parts that seem interesting to you. So first up, the start and finish that I wasn't able to show last Flosstube is my ornament exchange piece for the Black Needle Society in-person retreat that we'll be talking about later today. So later in this video, hopefully not like later today. So I did film a clip of that before it went to the retreat. So I will go ahead and insert that here. Hello. I wanted to quickly show my smalls exchange piece, my ornament exchange piece for Camp Black Needle this year. And without further ado, here she is. It is a jingly one. There are real jingle bells on it. I am absolutely thrilled with this. So this chart is Satsuma Street's Ringing in Good Cheer, I believe is the title of the chart. This is from the Jingle Ball 2 years ago, so 2022, I believe. It's the cover photo on the Jingle Ball chart from that year. So I did all the called for threads. I did this on 14 count perforated paper. I think the chart calls for 18, so I was a little nervous it was going to be big. And technically this is a little bit long for the required small size, but I did get it cleared with Katie and Laura beforehand that it was okay to submit this. I toyed with the idea of maybe like only doing 2 or only doing the red one, but you know, like just this alone seems like too little. So anyway, I love it. I hope the recipient loves it. I did for the first time in the Jingle Ball last year, Jody of Satsuma Street talked about using sticky foam to back her ornaments. And this is actually sparkly. Hopefully you could see. So I did get white sticky foam and put it on here. And so far, I will say, I think what I can improve in the future is, especially if the sticky foam like matches the perforated paper, like in this case, you know, the back of the sticky foam is white and the paper is white. I think it's really nice because it can actually sort of smooth out some of the rough edges you get when cutting out perforated paper. So to bring you in here, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's like the paper is kind of cut very angularly, but you can sort of smooth it out with the, you can smooth out the appearance of it, certainly from a distance with the foam. So that's something I don't think I nailed on this first attempt, but I think is good. And this was just a piece of like ribbon I had lying around. But yeah, otherwise I finished it as called for. And then the only other thing I wanted to point out is, I don't know if you can see, it looks like it's separating, but it seems very secure. And then like I press on it. So I'm curious again, I mean, this is Jody's advice. So I was like, let me just do it like that. But I am curious over the long term how that's going to hold up. But it looks incredibly tidy, that's for sure. I feel like it looks a lot nicer than my felt finished backs. So yeah, I got the sticky foam from Michael's. And additionally, I mean, it's not the only thing, like there's glue going on as well, where the ribbon is. So there is like glue adhering the sticky foam to the piece as well. So I'm not actually, it feels like I'm kind of not trusting that it's going to hold together. I think it's going to hold together fine, but it is just kind of, one of those interesting ones where, yeah, it's a new material for me, so curious. But yes, this is my finished piece. I'm so happy with it. I'm honestly like, do I need to make one for myself? How fun is this? But anyway, hopefully my recipient loves it because they will already have it by the time you're seeing it. And hopefully you love it too. Thanks everyone. Back to me. Yes, so that was the retreat piece, which went over well. It got picked. It wasn't last. I feel like there's nothing wrong with being last, but it never feels great. So I was not picked last yet again. So goals achieved. And yes, so that was my start and finish. Next up, I have one finish to show you since our last meeting, and that would be the next installment of the Celebrate All Year Stitch Along, and this is National Hot Dog Month. I do not believe I had even started this last time we chatted, or maybe we had, I don't know. But this is adorable. This was a pain though. I am gonna have to put on the screen what this fabric is, because I feel like I was calling it a Witchelt, but then maybe it's actually a Zweigart. I don't know, but it's got Witchelt energy. It's extremely crispy. It was very annoying to stitch on, and I think I'm gonna have to go to Cross Stitch the Globes, revisit their video about softening up fabric, and try something else for the rest of this, because so far these charts, I mean, this is the 7th one I've done. They usually take me about 2 days, 2-3 days to do, and this took me like 4 or 5, and really it was because like it took 4 days to finally power through all the buns. And then there's no like non-horrible way to say this, but basically when I was doing all the fillings, most of the like holes were already used. And it felt a lot easier on the last day to do like the fill-in because I wasn't like breaking new ground. Anyway, it's a 32 count. It's got to get fully finished. It's not, obviously, and I got 2 more months of stitching on this fabric. So like I said, I'm going to try to experiment a little bit to see if I can, I don't know, make this not such a nightmare to stitch on. But August pattern has been released. I will put it up. It is National Peach Month, which is, I thought, very cute because we live in Georgia. It's my boyfriend's birthday month, and I said he likes my butt. So love National Peach Month for him. Sorry if that was TMI. So I finished that one because I wanted, my goal was to have all of my stitch alongs fully caught up for retreat. So like, number 1, I didn't have to worry about it. And number 2, because I was trying to start Monster House Sal by Satsuma Street, which didn't exactly happen, but that's okay. It still felt really good to get all that done before retreat. So next up, I'll keep this here, is my Twisted Rainbow sampler, which again is not going to look super exciting at this point, but I had another like pass of the specialty band done. So we finished this dark purple, and you can see I have the start of the next band here, which is this fuchsia. So I'm very excited. It's all very exciting colors on the end here. So we'll keep we'll keep trucking. I'm on track with that. This one will be done at the end of this week. And yeah, not too much to report here. This is, yeah, Twisted Rainbow Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. And this is a 28 count, this Zweigart Black Jobelin from 123 Stitch. And it is my oldest work in progress. And it's gonna be done by the end of the year, no matter what. That we're gonna do it. Okay. Next up, I will put up where this was before, but this is my other oldest old piece, Dinosaur Forest by Forest Embroidery. And I am back on my like hashtag motif a week with Julian Stitches. And here are the stitches since you saw it last. I, again, don't fully remember. I think I came down here for 1 week, and then I think I did maybe like this plant and this guy with this little Cheeto guy and all this, finish this tree. I don't really know. You're seeing it, you know. You can see, like, on one hand, my motivation is up for this, but on the other hand, it's just like, I don't think about it that much. Like, I just kind of put my time in, and then I just don't really think about it so much. So I'm going to try to stick with the showing where it was before tactic for this, because otherwise I'm going to be pointing at things that you're like, girl, we saw that last time. And this is kit fabric. This was all a kit from Forest from years and years ago. And I think it's like a 32 count approximately with all of their threads. And that's another one. It's going to be done by the end of the year. It is. We're going to stick with it. All right. Lastly, I caught up my Arctic Animal Stitch Along. Shocker of all shockers. And I guess there's probably going to be a new drop of this in a couple days, but I'm actually caught up. So this is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's Arctic Animal Sal, and this is out of the frame this time. Last time we didn't get to see the whole piece of fabric, but here it is. So since you saw it last, I guess if I'm being responsible, maybe you will have had a photo up of it. We'll see. But I finished up the walrus and then came over here and did part 3, which was the caribou. And the caribou is darling. I'm really liking it. Thank you. I got some nice encouraging words about my fabric choice in my last video, so thank you for that. I'm foregoing the signs, which of course it is one of those things that, like, yes, I can technically add them back in, but the longer I go without them, the less motivated I'm going to be to go put a bunch of huge rectangles in. So hope I like it. I think it's looking really good. So this is a 16 count Aida, opalescent Aida from Under the Sea Fabrics in the color Hamlet. And I got the coordinating needle minder for this Sal. Very adorable. I think Frosted Pumpkin does cutesy animals very well. So I won't fully say I'm like loving this, but we're on track. We're on track, and I'm gonna be happy with the finished product. I just know it. Amazing. So that is all of the like pre-stitching that happened between the last time I filmed and the 30th, since I left on the 31st. So now I am just gonna like walk you through my experience at Black Needle Society's in-person retreat, which is informally known as camp. And that is largely due to the fact that the first year they hosted the retreat, which was 2 years ago, I believe, they do themes for their camp, which is very fun. So I'm going to just like preface this whole section by saying, there's so many ways that this was not like StitchCon, which I think was really fun to get to just try something new and different. And this is one of them. They have kind of like a theme every year. So 2 years ago, it was like summer camp themed. And, you know, B&S camp is just a very catchy title. So they keep calling it camp, and they call the the folks who help run the event, the camp counselors, and so it's just very cute. So B&S camp is what I went to, and like last year the theme was carnival themed, I believe. So the theme this year was holidays, which is very in line with the stitch along we've had all going so far, which is like the celebrate all year sales, which is like these kind of non-traditional monthly observances and holiday and like celebrations. So that was the theme. So before I even left, the last little piece before this, I had a stressful moment with my table gifts. So if you watched my StitchCon recap, you may know that my friend, who is under the moniker Montana Friend, visited me and hand drew some shrinky dink thread jewelries of my cat Fozzie for my table gifts and like a few extras. So she graciously agreed to do another round for camp and had done them in plenty of time and was set to mail them with plenty of time, and even splurged for me and was like, I'm gonna go to UPS and make sure you don't have to fight USPS. Well, it's still me, so there's always something with the mail, right? So it was so wild because she went, like, whatever day she dropped them off, she knew something was wrong. Like the way that the UPS employee was he seemed very confused, very unsure about like what was going on. And I remember she texted me as soon as she left the store that day, and she was like, I have a bad feeling. I feel like something is wrong and I feel like it's gonna get lost. So just an initial gut ominous vibe. So she had sent it on a Saturday with it set to arrive, I think like Wednesday or Thursday the following week. And I wasn't leaving until the following Wednesday. So we're talking like a week and a half like lead time here to go, domestic. So she was right. Something did happen that was weird. Basically, we checked the tracking days and days later, and UPS's website was still showing that the package was not in their possession, which is funny because it was dropped off there. So she had to call the store. They didn't find it. And I don't really know what happened, but we just kind of held out hope. And I told my mom is an extremely lucky person. And I was like, can you please just like send some lucky juju my way? And she called me one day and was like, I think you're going to find your package because my car just broke down. And I forget what happened to Montana Friend, but something else, like someone else in my family or friends like had a wild thing happen, and we were like, okay, yes, this is all gonna work. And the day my mom called me that her car broke down, that night I refreshed the tracking on UPS's website and it was scanned. So it still took a while to get here. So I flew out, like I said, early Wednesday morning. They arrived Tuesday afternoon. So it was a bit of a nail biter, but they came. They arrived and they were perfect. So I quickly took a clip because I was just kind of in the midst of packing and stuff. So I'm going to cut to that clip now so you can see all the fun new styles that she came up with for this retreat. Hello, friends. So this is a different camera angle we're looking at here. I basically am looking a little rough. I have not done the pre-retreat looking refreshed moment here, and I don't really feel like being on camera, but it has been a long saga. I'm sure I just detailed in the video before you're seeing this clip, but yes, the Foz Shrinky Dinks have just made it to me, and I want to have them captured on video, probably like 1/3 for you, 2/3 for me, just for posterity. So we're just gonna do a little like parade of Shrinky Dink Fozes. So first up we have the cowboy style is back. I forgot to send her the original artwork she did of this particular shape, so she had to redraw this one, and I really like it. So we have that one in red, in blue, and in pink. He's kind of squat on that one. I really love it. Then similar, we have another top hat Foz there. Then we have a redesign again of, this was the redesign of the scheming fuzz, and now his tail is in the front because his tail is very important to the brand. So we have 2 of these in this style. And then we came up with some stuff to go on the top of his head. So there's peach fuzz. I guess it's like Georgia fuzz maybe. And pumpkin fuzz. I love how excited he is in this one. Next is another design that we had for StitchCon. So we have 2 of these donut styles here. So cute. And then we did do a repeat of the axolotl, and I like that he looks a little cross-eyed in this one. And a new companion, we have the raccoon. What is he up to? What is the proportion of the raccoon? Is it a baby raccoon? I don't know. I love it. And then last but not least, a new style that is going to be hard to let go of for me. This is, I don't think we have a name for this, but this is a playful fuzz, entrapment fuzz. He's trying to get you to play with his tummy. And yes, there is a butthole, so don't grab this one. Well, they're already gonna be given out at this point. Don't grab this one if you don't like the butt. And then I have, this is Tester Fuzz. I cracked up. I probably won't be, I don't know. I'll bring him. Maybe someone will really love him, but that's just cracked me up. Since, we were under new conditions, like good scientist, she had to run a tester through and make sure she liked the colors, because she also didn't have my colored pencils. She had her own, so that cracks me up. And last but not least, this one is mine, and the letters are backwards here, so I'm gonna flip them over. This is Root and Toot Fuzz. So this is for me, and then I'll probably put up a picture. She made 3 of this style for like her, myself, and her former roommate, our friend, and the 3 of us are gonna see each other in August, and so they so she has them representing all 3 of our cats here. So they both have black cats, as you can see, and they are a whole squad together. So just absolutely adorable. I can't lie to y'all, when I thought this package was missing, I was most upset about this one, because I was like, they're gonna have their 2 and I'm not gonna have mine. I mean, she probably would have remade it for me, but as we know, it's not the same. So anyway, curious to see how this comes across on the screen. But anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed. And now back to the main video. Welcome back. Those were so freaking adorable. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I traveled to Kansas City and had, it was a pretty uneventful flight. It was just pretty early in the morning, and I met up with Jennifer, the frog stitcher, on Instagram, and Amanda, who is Amanda Stitches on Instagram. Everybody's gonna be linked below that I can think to link. So I arrived pretty early because Jennifer and I were rooming together, and Jennifer and Amanda were working the event. So I didn't really have any responsibilities on Wednesday. But yeah, we got in, we went to lunch, and then there are 2 local needlework shops to the Kansas City area. So one is, Quilter Station, which is obviously a quilt shop, but then also has a pretty extensive cross stitch section, as well as a really good like punch needle section, it looked like, as well as like wool felting, or not wool applique, not felting. So there's that, and then CC and Company. So on Wednesday, the group that went to lunch, we went to Quilter Station, and I was very brave and I didn't buy anything. I think I knew that I really wanted to hit up like the vendor's room at the event, so I resisted buying anything. And then basically we got back, and like all the camp counselors had to do work stuff setting up, and so I chilled. I like took a little nap, watched some Olympics. It was fine. And that was pretty much Wednesday. So Thursday morning, I got up with a separate group, and we went and did Quilter Station again, and then also went to CC and Company, which is a like cross stitch focused store. And again, I didn't buy anything at either one of them. So that was, but it was really cool to see them. You know, it's always fun to go in person in shops and like touch things. So that was really fun. So went with that group, and then the stitching room opened Thursday afternoons. That was already a difference that like around 2 p.m. Is when it opens. And I don't want to say I had planned my table, more so I was like invited to a table. So I wasn't really pressed about like getting there right at like rope drop or anything like that, because we knew where we were sitting. So I was invited to sit at the Halloween table. So all the tables had like holiday themes. So I think there was like Friendsgiving, let's see if I can name them all. Friendsgiving, Earth Day, Star Wars Day, I said Halloween, New Year's Eve. I know there was Mardi Gras, Hanukkah, Eid, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, Pride. I think that's all I got in there. So a good selection of holidays. So we were at the Halloween table, and that was where the hosts, Katie and Laura, who are the owners of the Black Needle Society and our gracious hosts, had their stuff, as well as Jennifer, the frog stitcher, like I said, and then Keisha and Laura have a YouTube channel that will be linked, the Pattern Queens. So Keisha is half of the Pattern Queens. And then we also had Eunice and Nicole, our two Canadians, and neither one of them have a Flosstube as far as I'm aware, but they were delightful to sit with, and I had a blast. So that was our table, and I kind of knew like where I was going, so we got set up there. So that night, instead of having swag at the table, it was interesting. All of the tables had decorated shoe boxes with the theme of the table. And then they also had like a power tower in the center. So that's really nice that they kind of provide like a big power tower for you to plug stuff into if you need that. So I think all of us kind of were like, oh, okay, the shoe box is like a base to elevate the power tower. But when things officially kicked off in the evening, and they, and things got started, they announced that we were actually supposed to look in the shoe boxes at that point. And reach over here, things are spread all around. So you're just going to have to, I'll either edit it or you'll have to excuse my reach. We got our swag bag, which was trick or treat. So obviously the contents of the bag were not in a shoebox, but the bags were all folded up. And then, because it is a trick or treat bag, all of the camp counselors went around the room, and we had to trick or treat for all of our swag, which was very fun. I think that's another like top note theme of this retreat is a lot smaller than StitchCon. There's about 100 participants. And it really, they really like to do a lot of games and stuff, which is very fun. And I think it's hard to do, that's a benefit of a smaller retreat, I think, is you can kind of get away with stuff like that. So let's run through the swag real quick. So we got a like Pride water bottle. It says all you need is love. Very chrome and metallic and rainbow. We got this gorgeous pattern holder. So you can see, I haven't assembled it yet, but this, will slide through it, and it can hold up, it could be a device stand, like for your tablet or your patterns, but it's all etched. I love this. I almost want to find a way to just like display this as it is. I love it so much. Next up we got, and I'm really hoping that I like actually grabbed everything, because it's highly possible that things got sorted into other bags and I just didn't even know. We didn't have like a spoiler card for this. So for Star Wars Day, or May the 4th be with you day, we got this bath bomb of a stormtrooper. We got a St. Patrick's Day little clover pin. And then we got 2 kitted projects, which is what they do. So every year there's a big chart, which this is what the chart will look like. It's a good day to celebrate, and you're gonna die when you see these colors. And on the back, every year there's also a snail. So this is the Camp 2024 snail, which is the Solstice snail, and we'll get a better look at that in a little bit too. So we got the project bag, and then separately we trick-or-treated for The, oh yeah, we got a pair of scissors, and these have cute little birds on them. Made me quite happy. And then we got this thread jewelry and the threads. So here's another look at the big pattern and the threads. Is this not one of the most like delicious color palettes you've ever seen? Oh, I love it. So these are all Gentle Arts. Yes. Some of these have like the Simply shaker on it. I really couldn't tell you the difference, but they're all Gentle Arts. And then we did get fabric, which I'm only gonna like let you peek because there's a start on the other side of it. But we got the called for fabric for the charts was Be Stitched Knees Vintage, and we did before the event have our choice of fabric type. So mine is a 32 count linen. And then we also got, I'll just keep you in suspense a little longer. We got a needle minder. So here's our little Solstice snail on a little passport. And I believe that is the swag. I'm really sorry if I missed anything in particular is all. So I unfortunately I'll have to put up pictures of the patterns themselves because we had the option of a paper chart or a digital copy. So I went digital. So I don't have it with me, but they're gorgeous. I want to stitch them both for sure because the colors are just too good. The colors are just too good. So let's throw that down here. So that was the swag bag. And then after announcements and stuff, they did, I think we had the first round of White Elephant. So that was another game that they played. So they had little, they had 4 Christmas trees set up, or well, 4 plastic trees, put it that way, set up in the front of the room that were related to the ornament exchange. So there was like there was a Christmas tree, there was kind of like an Easter tree that was white, and then there was, which I really failed at getting pictures. I am so sorry, y'all. There was a Halloween tree that was black, and then there was a pride tree that was rainbow. And so when we did ornament exchange stuff, you could kind of put it up at any point. So if it was like, if the holiday fell within the winter season, it was supposed to go on the Christmas tree. If it fell on the spring, it went on the Easter tree, fall on the Halloween tree. And then of course, summer was on the pride tree. And you would exchange with people who were on your respective tree, but that was later. So anyway, so there's all these presents underneath the trees. And so we all had numbers assigned to us, and you had to, when they called your name or your number, you would go up and you would pick a bag. And if you weren't the first person of the night, you got the option to steal, like in a typical White Elephant. So things could be stolen up to 3 times. So if some things got heated, you could definitely tell it was popular. And, but then it was nice because there was enough up there that over the course of the event, you knew everybody was getting a prize one way or the other. So that was kind of cool. On top of the swag, we knew we were getting a random prize. So I was not drawn on Thursday, but they did that. And then the vendor room opened up, and they had a lot of fantastic vendors. So first thing I bought, I cannot show you because I don't have it in my possession. So Renee of the Golden Familiars was vending. And if you're not familiar with the Golden Familiars, she makes these stitch and go cases as well as project bags, bobbin sheets. I think she had one of those kind of like pocketed things that like you lay over the side of a couch or a love seat or something. She had a lot of fun products there, scissor fobs and the like. And I knew going in that I was probably going to cave and finally buy one of her cases because I have ogled them for a while. And she had a great selection there. It was really good to see like in person the differences between the like 2 sizes she offers and like the different things that can go on the inside. So she did not have in the size and style that I wanted. My favorite fabric of everything I saw there was not available in that style. So I put in a custom order. So she is working on it, and I think it may take, 6-ish weeks. So you'll see it when I see it. But So I did put in that order, and she was offering a raffle. So if you bought a Stitch and Go case, you got a ticket and were entered to win another case, which I didn't win. But the hope was there all weekend that maybe I'd walk out with 2 cases. So that was my first purchase. Then Mystic Fabrics was there, Misty, which, did I need fabric? Hell no, but she got me because she had grab bags. She had grab bags, and so everything was at like a little bit of a discount in the grab bag, so I grabbed 2. So one of them is 18 count Ada, and one is 32 count Lugana, which literally... grabbing all this stuff right now, I didn't even realize it was Lugana, but the colors are so rich. So anyway, we'll go through these. So I'm excited because I like stitching on even weave. It's just like, if I'm looking online and I like a color, you know, usually it's just so, it can be really washed out on the even weaves, so I don't stitch on it much, but I have some Lugana. So my first 18 count Ada is Neutrality. Very, very essential neutral here. I'm sure this will get used up quick, like a nice kind of eggshell color. Let me not put this on my cat's hairy poof there. Next up is Witch's Brew. I loved this one. I wanted it real bad. You know, it almost, these 2 tones kind of remind me of like Be Stitch Me's Garden Party gone dark though. Like instead of it being light with the like red and green, it's a dark one. I mean, it is more of an orange than a red, but anyway, Witch's Brew. And then I got very aptly named Spending Amnesia. So these were preset in the bag. So I just kind of like went through the bags until I found one that had a pretty good selection that I liked. I love these greens. I was very excited about this. And the last one in this pack is called Nothing. And it's a dark one, which I liked because it's an Ada. So I will actually stitch on this. Oh, that looks fun on camera. It does not look, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. That looks very exciting on camera. Ooh. I made a great choice, if I do say so myself. So that was my Ada grab bag. And then my Lugana grab bag. Again, sort of goofed, didn't realize I had an overlapping colors, but what are you gonna do? So first up out of here is Reflection. So pretty. Just a nice soft blue. Then I got Milk and Honey. Which, yeah, it's almost like a cheddar yellow, if that makes sense. Then I got Lugana Witch's Brew. I'm pretty impressed. Like, obviously the, you know, the modeling is different, but these are like similar in punchiness. This is the Ada. I am very impressed that the fact that I didn't clock until literally I read the label that this is Lugana. That's pretty awesome. And then last but not least, this is called Dreamy. Ooh, so pretty. I have a lot of neutrals, so I was trying to get some like punchier colors, and I think I succeeded. So that was amazing to get. And then that was all the damage I did that night, but I did have one other vendor room buy that I'm just going to show. So that was from Judy's Project Bags and More. She had Charlie Harper fabric, and I didn't even know who Charlie Harper was until I started watching the Hathaway Stitchers. Amity has like Charlie Harper cross stitch patterns and fabric, and I didn't even know that I needed this in my life, but now I do. And so she had one Charlie Harper bag, and I had to get it, even though, you know, I feel like more recently I've gravitated more towards vinyl front project bags, but Judy showed me she's got kind of a fun solution to that here. She sews a little pocket on where you can take this card out. So even if you have all of your bags kind of like lined up, if you don't remember what's in something, you can just like peekaboo, like what's in there. So this is, yeah, the back. Very fun. And oh, Judy was sitting at my table. Oh my gosh, I didn't list Judy. I'm so sorry, Judy, if you're watching this. Judy was at my table and she was a freaking riot. I love her. We had a day that it ended up being just me and her for lunch, and we had a delightful time. I'm obsessed with her. So obviously I was like, you must have my money, and this bag is amazing anyway. So that was all the stuff that I ended up purchasing from the vendor room. But I did end up chatting to several of the other vendors over the weekend. They were all so fun. So that's what I wanted to shout out. Jade and Kim of Small Town Needleworks. I'll have their info below. They have a Flosstube that I need to start watching. They're designers. They're a mother-daughter designer company. They had so much fun stuff, so much cute, adorable finishing. Just really sweet. She has a like, oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to remember what it is, but she had like a really cute set of Christmas patterns that I think somebody won in a raffle. Anyway, lots of cute stuff. I'm sure I will patron them in the future. Her daughter Jade and I had a really good conversation about just like video games and stuff, and I really hope that I get to see them in the future. They're really fun. Also, Amanda of Soulful Creations was there. She was so fun to talk to. We chatted a lot. And she also sells kind of like a more stitching case design. Hers is almost like a little mini trapper keeper, like it zippers shut. And they're really nicely done and really well designed. They are just a bit on the small side for my stitching style. So I think if you stitch in hand, because I noticed that she stitches in hand, so she can stuff her little projects in this little thing. And she doesn't need to carry around, you know, a huge honkin' Nurge or a Q-snap or anything like that. So if you're an in-hand stitcher, I highly recommend checking out her stuff. That might be very much up your alley. They look like they hold a million things, but they're just small. So I can't stuff a Nurge in there, which is what the frame that my frame of choice recently. But like I said, I've done the Q-snaps, I've used hoops, all that stuff. So she was really fun, and she had a really cool, like, kind of new bag she's prototyping. She's one to watch, and her zippers were like industrial. Like, those are not little like cheap craft zippers. These zippers are no joke on her products. And then lastly, someone else I talked to, because I think all of these people were sitting at the same table, is Artie of the Vintage Stitcher. And Artie does something very cool. If you've not heard of the Vintage Stitcher, she goes to estate sales basically and like bulk buys and resells cross stitch stuff. And I think like models, you know, or not models, like finished pieces. She goes to estate sales, she buys, you know, deceased stitchers supplies and resells them, which I think is kind of fantastic because, you know, on Flosstube I hear of a lot of people who go to estate sales, go thrifting, that kind of thing. And I am for it. I just don't do it. I don't really, you know, I don't go look up listings and like figure out if like, you know, something would be a good like to go check out or anything like that. I'm no good. So I really love the concept there. And now that I am on her Facebook, I've already seen she's been dumping Halloween patterns, and there's been some really cute ones. So Artie, it was great to chat with you as well. And I mean, I talked to so many wonderful people, but these are people that I had like multiple extended conversations with that I was thinking of. So yes, that was Thursday. A lot of opening excitement. So Friday, we got our July box. If you were if you get the bi-monthly boxes from Black Needle Society, we got those boxes. They just delivered them there. I just before this filmed a unboxing video, so that should probably be going up before this anyway, but if you're curious what was in that box, the theme was Up All Night Stitching, or Stitching Under the Stars. Sorry, Up All Night Stitching was like a box I did years ago. Stitching Under the Stars was the theme. It was a very cute box. So here, I'll give you a little teaser. It came in this tote bag. So cute. So go check out that video if you want to see what's up there. The pattern in that box is really good. So we got that, and I finally kind of got my act together and started really stitching on Thursday. Not much stitching got done. So now I will show you some stitching. So the first project I brought, I actually only ended up bringing 2 works in progress and 1 planned start. And then I knew that we would get like the snail chart and the retreat piece all kitted up. So I sort of assumed that I'd start the snail, but I really only brought 2 projects, which is kind of wild. I had a moment of panic when I got there, but certainly it was enough to stitch on. So the first thing I brought, of course, was my Deadly Aquarium, because even though this Friday that I stitched on it was an off week, there was not a new piece dropped. The week before, it was the biggest exhibit yet. It was 1,200 stitches and change. So I was not done before I went. But that's okay, because I was kind of thinking, that it would be a fun one to share. Like, probably a lot of people would be bringing theirs, and it would be a good one just to like have. And I could not have anticipated how wonderful and kind everyone would be, and the enthusiasm that would be for my piece. There were several other Deadly Aquariums there, but I think of the ones that I saw, I think I was most up to date. And people were just so nice and so excited for me. So I will not keep you in suspense, but I am caught up. And since I'm filming this on Tuesday, I have several more days before we get a new piece. So I actually get like a real break from this, which is kind of nice. I've been really good about it. I've been excited to stitch on it. But having a break is nice because we still have 4 exhibits to go. So anyway, the most recent release was the Barracuda and then the Hammerhead Shark with the pilot fish. And they look incredible. It was wild. So I did not bring anything to have as like a finish to ring the bell, but I rang the bell Saturday night when I finished stitching on this, because I was like, you know what? I put over 1,000 stitches into this. There's backstitch. Everyone was excited about it. So anyway, everyone was super nice. I was allowed to ring the cowbell for my big stitch along finish for now. So this is stitched on 40 count Eucalyptus by Atomic Ranch, and it's looking great. I'm using all the called for colors. I'm doing 1/2. I don't really normally say that, I guess. And then I will say, Lola Crow in her backstitching instructions, there are some parts that are, like 2 strands for backstitch versus 1 strand for backstitch. And I've been using exclusively 1 strand for backstitch. Occasionally, if a specific detail isn't popping, I will go back over it with a 2nd strand, but for the most part, everything is backstitched in 1 strand. And I'm really happy about it. It's looking great, so I have remained caught up. And for once, I'm not like filming on a Friday. I'm like, oh, well, it was caught up until 2 hours ago. So that was very exciting. I also had my planned start with Jennifer. So Jennifer and I had decided to start Autumn Night Alphabet by Forest Embroidery. And they do have the Latin letters for this, but I'm putting up the Cyrillic one because that's what I'm stitching. I was driving Jennifer crazy on Friday because I thought that this would fit on a 36, like that it would barely fit on a quarter, like a fat quarter. And so I was trying to like think of how I wanted to do a corner start, and really I wanted to start in the middle. But then I realized I wasn't really right. It didn't really fit top to bottom super well. And I also am not one to cut my fabric before a project is done. So I already know this fabric, this fat half I bought, is going to be tied up forever. Long story long, Jennifer was like, shut up and start in the middle. So I did. I started in the middle of the whole fabric. And yes, it's going to be extremely like, it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 inch borders, but that's okay. I I'm at peace with it. So this center motif is Baba Yaga's house. So I started on that. And Jennifer gave me this needle minder. It says count twice, stitch once. So yeah, this is on a fat half. So it's not going to take all of it, but it's going to take a lot of it. And this was my purchase at StitchCon. So this is 36 count cobblestone by Fiber on a Whim. And I am stitching this 2 threads over 2. And I'll tell you what, I'm annoyed because this year I learned how to, like, what the correct spot on linen is to start your stitches, or at least I thought I did. So I actually sat there and like really thought about it and was like, I want this to be a really nice piece and have a really nice time stitching it. So I'm going to take the time to make sure that I start in the right hole. And turns out I had the wrong information. You're welcome to message me if you're curious. I don't feel like there's an elegant way I can explain it quickly here, but it is technically on the wrong hole. But I've literally never noticed in any of my stitching before. So we carry on. We carry on. I'm not restarting it. I don't even notice. I thought it was right and I was proud of myself, and that's that. So it's officially a start, and I cannot wait to put a lot more stitches of that. I want to stitch it already, so that might be coming up soon. And this is in my Lynn X Stitches Creates bag. Lynn was at the retreat as well, but I had just bought her bag at StitchCon, so sorry, Lynn. Judy had my bag purchase of the retreat. Okay, and then last thing that I worked on, or like over the retreat that I'm choosing to show in this section, is, like I said, Felicity the Lobster. Here's that finished. This is a kit off Etsy from Emily Peacock, and it's stitched on, like, with yarn on this big canvas. Y'all are gonna die. I'm gonna see if I can find, here's where it was before. And during this retreat, it really occurred to me that I have like 2 weeks until I'm supposed to supposedly be done with this and hand it over. So I got my booty in gear. Here she is. Oh my gosh. I stitched a lot on this. I did. So I am 67% done, I believe. So obviously I have all the yellow on the opposite side to do, but as of this morning, I finished up this light blue. I did all of the black. So I need to outline in white. And then I'll have, this is like a dark blue that goes here, and then another kind of like fuchsia-y pink that goes on the little like pincer here on the claw. So I think my plan is I'm gonna outline in white next and then start doing big chunks of yellow just to like start chipping away at that. And then I'll kind of reward myself into the last 2 colors. But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, this might be the last time, I don't know, I'll get a clip of it for sure when it's done, but this might be the last time you see it in a Flosstube if all goes well and I actually finish this and hand it off to Montana Friend. She has been so fun. This was another one that was very fun to have at retreat. People, you know, it's different. People were very excited to see and ask questions, and I think I sold a few people to go check out her Etsy. So if you were eyeing something, run, don't walk. No, just kidding. I'm sure she'll restock. Not that I think that I sold her out or anything like that. I mean, you know, it's a big kit, so obviously it's not a super cheap kit. But anyway, I put it in the Charlie Harper bag. So I'm very excited that she has a little bit of a home instead of just like sitting loose on my nightstand. So yeah, got a lot of work done on that over the weekend. So that was all the Friday stitching. And Friday night, or well, really more like mid-afternoon, Athena of Stitching Goddess Designs, who is like local to the area, she invited, you know, pretty much anyone from the retreat who wanted to go over to her house and have food, and delicious food. Athena, it was definitely, it still stands. It was the best meal I had while I was in Kansas City. So Athena cooked, you know, like for 2 days, preparing for everyone to come over. It was fantastic. It was great to, you know, hang out with folks, and we, a group of us hid these little like googly eyes around her house. If you go check out Athena's latest video, I'm very proud of myself. One of the googly eyes I specifically hid, she didn't notice, was like on her needle minder tray behind her. So it made the video, even though she did know. And when I think she saw it when she was editing, so she like points it out toward the end of the video, but it's in the whole video, which is all I had hoped for when I hid it there. So I'm very proud of myself for that. So that was fun. And then we got back on Friday night for all of the like nightly events. And I also forgot to show, somebody brought these. I think Renee brought these. I'm gonna put the cat ears on because they were cute. So people were rocking cat ears all weekend. Yes. Okay. So Friday night was the ornament exchange. So I showed you mine. And as I said, everybody, you had to pick off the tree that you were on. So we just kind of lined up and then again, sort of did like white elephant style ish where like, you know, they had a random number and then, you know, that person went and picked an ornament and then whoever's ornament got picked, they picked after them until there was an issue and then we had to pick a new number. All that to say, this is what I ended up with. This cracked me up. So here's my smalls exchange piece I received. So it says, Merry Toyota-thon and Happy Honda Days. So I think almost probably all of my regular watchers are US based, but in case this is not making sense to you, there are commercials that air over the holidays that strongly promote like car dealership sales. And they actually use these terms. This is like something you see every year. Toyota-thon and Happy Honda Days. Like it's a real thing. So I thought that was hysterical. I do happen to drive a Honda. My sister drives a Honda and my brother drives a Toyota as well. So it felt in the family a little bit. So I was very thrilled to receive this. And I feel so bad. Whoever stitched it, they didn't leave a card on it and their name is not coming to mind at the moment, but I love it. And my ornament exchange recipient was very happy to receive theirs. So that night as well, my number got called for White Elephant and the first gift that I pulled got stolen. So I picked a second bag. And that one did stay with me. So I will show you what I got from White Elephant. So I got a Ray Dunn mug, which I'm not much of a Ray Dunn girly, but this is freaking cute. So it says Witch's Brew, a nice huge mug. And I don't think all of them had this, but mine came with its own like coaster. So that's gonna look very adorable on my desk here. And then I also got Farm Market pin keep from Stacy Nash. Very adorable. So yeah, most of the gifts in like the White Elephant game were either like a couple of patterns or sometimes it was like a pattern and a piece of fabric, which is what I got in my first bag that I was robbed of. There was a lot of these mugs of different styles, you know, lots of Halloween ones, like a couple of Christmas ones. There was like a milk and cookies one. I'm trying to think. Some like scissor fobs, you know, just like significant gifts, but you know, just like a couple little things. So that was very sweet of them to give everybody a gift. And I guess I didn't mention, like the night before, somebody had pulled a gift that had a literal stuffed toy White Elephant and 4 bottles of hot sauce. And unbeknownst to them, that actually was like the grand prize winner of the weekend. So nobody went for it because they were like, I don't want hot sauce. But nobody knew that that was like what was going to determine the winner of the weekend. So that was like very exciting at the end when that was the big reveal. But so this is my White Elephant prize. And then also another game they had going on. I told you there was a lot. Every morning the camp counselors hid Easter eggs, plastic Easter eggs all over the room. And there were 2 golden eggs every day. So the regular colored eggs a lot of them had Jolly Ranchers, which people honestly just started leaving. It's a lot of, they can mix up the candy in there at least. It's only so many Jolly Ranchers we needed. But, so they either had Jolly Ranchers in them or some had threads. I got a couple threads. I saw someone with a scissor fob. like that kind of stuff. So like other little small things that go in Easter eggs. But the golden eggs were empty, but you had to tell them that you got the golden egg. So I got the first golden egg of Friday. And so that night when we were doing prizes and stuff, my prize was $50 to Quilter Station. So good thing I was behaved previously, because I had to go spend $50 there. So that was Friday. Very exciting for me. And oh yeah, I was gonna highlight, I did some late night stitching with Connie of Count Twice Stitch Once and Lynn of Lynn X Stitches Creates. Sorry, they'll both be linked. So thank you for hosting me in your room, ladies. I had fun the nights I was with y'all, because there was not like a late night stitching room. So when the room closed at 10:30, people just kind of scattered. Some people sat in the lobby, but anyway, they hosted me in their room because Jennifer goes to bed as early as she could possibly manage. So that was really fun stitching with them. And then yes, Saturday we were back with more stitching, and Connie took me to Quilter Station to spend my gift certificate. So of course, I mean, you want to make sure you use every penny of the gift certificate. So obviously I still ended up owing a little bit of money after this, but I was still pretty good, I think. So I got the Halloween just cross stitch because I didn't own this year's yet. And then I had been eyeing a piece of fabric. So I mentioned in my last Flosstube that Marjorie of Marjorie Made and I are hosting a stitch along for the chart Moths and the Moon by Tiny Modernist. And I just chatted with her earlier today because I was like, oh crap, like, we gotta make plans. So I will probably try to more formally like announce this, and I need to send it to the cross stitch calendar. But we have decided that we're gonna have it be any time in September start. I think September is just like a very high transition month for a lot of folks if you're going back to school or you have kiddos going back to school. So we're gonna say like a month of September start, and we're gonna call it our working hashtag right now is Moths Over Mini Moons, Sal. And this is because we all know that our favorite part of stitch alongs is starting along together. So we're really leaning into the start along of it all. And neither one of us really has like a strict time frame that we're hoping to finish that by. So there you have it. Hashtag Moths Over Mini Moons. So anyway, all that to say, I had been scrolling Instagram trying to find inspiration for fabric for this, because obviously it's on a beautiful neutral, but you know, what if there's something more fun? So I'm gonna credit whoever this is on Instagram. I saw this post and I was gagged. I loved the way that the moths pop out on this. So this was kind of my inspiration going into Quilter Station, looking in their fabric. I was hoping to find something that would kind of like hit that zone. And what I came up with is Fox and Rabbit Seaweed. And I kind of love it. It is showing a bit more brown to you than it is to me, but it's definitely like a greeny brown. So I think this is a little darker than my inspiration photo, and I haven't like floss tossed it yet, but I'm obsessed with this either way. So this is my top contender for Moss and the Moon fabric, and this is a 36 count. So I got that. And then the last thing I was shopping for with my gift certificate is one of my August WIPGO calls is to fully finish a piece that I finished a long time ago, and it does have a swear word, I'm gonna warn you. This is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And this is the pattern. It is Pineapple Slut. And I want it finished into a project bag. And so I was looking for fabric to fully finish this. And I was hoping for something that was like tropical, cocktails, like that kind of vibe. And I will say Quilter Station definitely has like, it generally trends more like subdued and primitive type stuff. So there was not a large section that was very funky prints anyway. But I had money to spend. So I did find a combo that I think will work. And even if I like chicken out and don't want to do it for this, they would make cute project bags anyway. Like this goes together no matter what. I don't know if I'm not 1,000% sold on whether or not my pineapple needs to go on it, but I got these martini glasses and then this kind of like almost oil slick green, which I was very excited because when Connie and I went to the store, Renee of the Golden Familiars was also there, and I was like, oh my gosh, a bag maker. And so I like grabbed her and I was like, does this work? And she was like, yeah, no, because I think like, you know, these kind of remind me of olives and stuff. Anyway, so I have big aspirations for this. We'll see how it goes. And then I panicked and I didn't know how much I needed, so I just got a yard of each. So I may have multiple bags out of this, which just may mean that maybe I'll give one away because I couldn't ask anyone to pay for something that I sewed, but I could give it away. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was Saturday. Yes. And then the last thing I have from Saturday stitching wise is I did start the Solstice Snail. And I kind of purposefully didn't work on it too long because I thought it would be good airport stitching because I had a long trip back on Monday. So here's my meager start. Just one color, but I got over 100 stitches into it. So I have this shoved in the corner with the idea that I will fit the big chart on the other half of the fabric. So that was cute. And that was pretty much Saturday. Yeah, we had like the big prize winner that night. I didn't win any of the, they also had like a, you know, pay money to a charity, and get raffle tickets, and you could win like model stitches, which is really exciting if, you know, those were really exciting models to you. There was a couple from Glendon Place, there was a hands-on design, a primitive hair, but I first of all was like packing with a suitcase, so some of them were kind of big and I didn't want to try to figure out how I was going to get them home. So I put a lot of my tickets in the hands-on design box, and then there was a knitted piece from Cece, who I won socks from not too long ago. And that box also had Primrose Cottage Stitches was like the other part of that bundle, so I put in for that. Didn't win any of those, but that's okay. My bag was full, so certainly didn't have room for it. Yeah, and then Sunday, more stitching. We had to clean up, lots of goodbyes. Jennifer and I watched some Olympics highlights and called it an early night because we were out very early on Monday. Jennifer's flight left at 10 a.m. and it's about like a 45-minute to an hour drive from where we were to the airport. So I went with her early because I didn't really have like another good option to get there without paying for the Uber myself, but that's a pretty pricey Uber. So yeah, I was at the airport very early. And then fun fact, I learned that you cannot check a bag until 4 hours before your flight. And I was there 5.5 hours before my flight. So I had to sit in the front of the airport before security. Shout out to Kansas City Airport though, because they have a Dunkin' Donuts out there. So I was able to sip a little s'mores cold brew while I waited to be able to check my bag so I could go through security. So it was all fine. And then I had a layover in Chicago and made it home pretty late, but all is good. So that was the retreat. It was very fun. Like I said, such a different vibe. I think particularly because with Black Needle Society, with their like monthly chats and their virtual retreats, there's just so many attendees that I had spoken to before, or like knew about them, even if we hadn't spoken directly. And so it was just very like friendly. Not that StitchCon wasn't friendly, but it was just like very overwhelming and there's so many people going around. So it was very interesting to have like a 100 person setup. And, you know, that room fit us pretty well and it was fairly easy to walk around. So I think it was easier that people would take like total laps of the room multiple times and see what you were working on and, you know, stop and chat. It just like, it felt more laid back in that respect. I am looking, I didn't really feature, as far as like table gifts, you know, I mean, Laura and Katie, obviously the table gifts were like everything we got at the retreat. I'll probably once again maybe like do a little clip of these at the end. And I will at the end put, I did get video footage of the brag table. There was some really good finishes there. So feel free to check that out at the end. Someone did make these little cute coasters. I'm like trying to pull out if anything was like very... I got some threads off the freebie table, didn't really get anything. Eunice's table gift, my new favorite Canadian, she gave us these caramels, which are so good. They're kind of like, my description of them is that they're like a classy Swiss roll with caramel. And she also gave us the all dressed potato chips, and those were pretty excellent. I don't know if for me they're worth like, you know, paying exorbitant shipping or like smuggling them across the border, but like I would happily eat a bag again. I think I ate like 3 bags over the weekend. So yeah, lots of goodies people brought around. Of course, so many nice sweet things, lots of thread drops, and stickers and just all sorts of goodies that I look forward to using in the future. And then I think very last thing I'll just show because there was not a natural place to put it before, but Jennifer, we had done a like communal Owl Forest embroidery order for threads. So we had ordered our threads for Autumn Night Alphabet. I am doing the called for threads. I don't think I mentioned that back then. And I ordered 2 more packs. So I got the thread pack for exotic birds. Actually, I'll put the chart up. It's just good. And I got the thread pack for hummingbirds. I mean, we're putting the order in. And I didn't say, Jennifer also just spoiled me and was like, here's a giant bag of threads that I just like don't want to deal with. Enjoy. I think these are all limited edition Gentle Arts, and I think that's why she didn't want to deal with them. So now I have to deal with them. But thank you, Jennifer. I'm thrilled. They will be up on the floss wall and hopefully in a project coming to me soon. Oh yeah, here's one. Someone did a little pin cushion. I picked out an orange cat that looks nothing like mine, but you know, still orange. And it does make a great cat toy. Fozzie was losing his mind with this last night. He was batting it around all over the place, which is why it's already covered in fur. Surprise, surprise. Okay, yes, I have covered everything. The plans are pretty much the same if you've been around. I'm gonna just keep cooking on all the sals. I do need to get started on the last section of my ink circles round robin, not leave them hanging. And I think that is it. My other Whip Go start I didn't mention is I actually have a new start. It's not a fully finished. So one of the hands-on designs, like Winter Flamingo trio, I'm gonna start one of those. And I think that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be all from me. Look at me, under an hour and 10. Who knew? Well, it's probably not gonna be an hour and 10 with the other clips, but me talking to myself is under an hour and 10. Thank you so much if you stayed with me this far. Thank you if we spoke at all this weekend. It was just like all lovely interactions. So many like people I was so excited that I've chatted to online multiple times and, you know, or like video called with during the BNS calls or during the Gilmore Girls retreats. Just so exciting to get to like experience these people in person and see that you do vibe as well in person as you thought you did online. You know what I mean? So just all kinds of fun. I did a better job of like sleeping more regular hours this retreat, which I think was nice. Happy to report I'm not feeling any symptoms or sickness, though I was kind of banking on, I was like, I still should have some immunity from when I got COVID at StitchCon, so I tested negative last night. We'll see if that holds. But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting. Great to be back and get back. I'm ready to put all this away. I'm glad I can stitch this sooner, or I could film this sooner rather than later. And always excited for more stitching. So yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to stitching. Are you kitting up a bunch of Halloween stuff? Are we so ready for Halloween? We're in August, it's almost fall. Yes, very grateful to be able to make these trips and can't wait for Stitch North already. So until next time, my friends, I will see you later. Take care.